Present.
Mrs. Haskey Overly, are you there? Is she there? Mr. So, are you there? Mrs. Aspis, are you there? All right, and then myself, we do have a quorum. And reviewing routine matters, may I have a motion to approve the agenda? Oh, sorry, wrong one. Sorry, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Are we doing the work session first? Yeah, I mean, okay.
Please rise and let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Flags over this way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
We will now have the prayer. Miss Aspis.
Hello? Let's bow our heads, or however you show your faith. Father God, come to you this evening and ask that to guide us and to help us remember that this is all for our students, our community, and those that we call staff. There's a lot that is here that we are responsible for money-wise, and just clear our heads and our thinking, and so that we can make our district not feel like it's in a crisis mode, and have everybody in our community secure, and especially with our economy today, our there's many thoughts that are going through my head right now, and I just pray, Lord, that prosperity and health and all of the good things that our district is blessed with. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Ms. Aspis. I want to welcome all the students, staff, community members, guests joining us in person and via live stream. The agenda has been distributed and posted. Are there any requests for changes? If not, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I would like to look at the usual stuff that I asked for, and as far as the financial reports, and also our check listing that is old, that is, if possible. Thank you.
Okay. With those items removed, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion.
Can I get a second?
I second, but I got a second, but I do have a question for the superintendent.
Yes, sir.
That board report, other than the outstanding checklist, that will be pulled and read separately with the presentation to the board on the finances, correct, as we have every month?
every month we have the reports, no board action. It's letter, number 7, letter B, accounts payable disbursements, board report summary, disbursement listings, outstanding check listings, expenditure report, revenue report by Stacy Gallagher. And you can ask whatever questions you need to ask regarding those reports.
Okay, so I'm just to assume that board report that we generally have read is going to be read and then along with the outstanding checks. That's all I'm clarifying with number 4.
Correct. The outstanding checks are part of that, that report.
All righty. Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just clarification.
Yeah, I just want to add this to Matthew Rousseau. I think we can approve the agenda as is, and once we get to that part, we can actually pull that item off for separate action and discussion. I believe it's on the consent agenda, so we can pull that off when we get to that.
Correct.
Absolutely. That's why I was clarifying. Thank you.
Okay, voter roll call to approve the agenda. President Montoya? Oh, no,
I motion.
She motioned, he second. Go ahead.
I will second.
We're voting now. Mr. Montoya, do you approve?
Matthew, I will second.
Jeez.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. So.
Yes.
Christina?
Where are we?
We're approving
Vote
the
the motion.
agenda.
I've heard, I motioned and then all of a sudden somebody's
There was
speaking.
a second.
So we're lost.
We're voting now.
No,
to
there
move
was a
next
second.
on the
I seconded
agenda.
it.
And now you're voting. Do you approve it, yes or no?
I'm not sure. Yes.
Myself is yes. It's passed. Okay. Next item is the consent agenda, where we have identified we're going to be removing items for review. Item 7B, we'd like a read through on that. And then, let's see, for these items, yeah. Other than that, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the reading of items 7B?
Madam Chair,
See?
I can't hear. I'm sorry, say that again, Mr. So?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve all the items listed on the consent agenda with the exception of the item that was requested, 7C,
Thank you. Can I get a
for
second?
separate action discussion.
Thank you. Can I get a
Second.
second? Perfect. Voter roll call.
Second.
Mr. Montoya, do you approve?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Ms. Aspis?
Yes.
Myself is yes. It's passed.
Vice President Montoya.
Yes.
That's the first one. I do want to say, and since our meeting is just starting, no more just coming out. I mean, we need to start. If you're gonna have something to say, do it right, and address you right. And I'm tired of this, jumping in with different things and not just confusing the whole matter. I think that individual's been on boards long enough to know. Thank you.
Appreciate your feedback, Ms. Aspis. All right, the next item, item 4, student, staff, and community recognition. We'll hear from the Superintendent Carlson on the 2026 NMSBA Student Achievement Award for Tim Kircher.
We don't have a microphone. Do we have Mr. Kircher in attendance today?
No?
If he's not here, I'd like to go ahead and just say a few things real quick. Or, I don't know if anybody has contact with him at all. If there would be a way that we could move those items, since we don't have Do we have anybody here for Shiprock High School robotics team?
We are here.
Okay, you're online, okay. How about Jordan Holian or Tayana Beekis? No? Well, I don't want people who are here to have to wait.
That's not the robotics, that's the FCC.
Oh, the robotics one's online?
Yeah, Tiana Bikis, isn't she with
Oh,
FCC?
These ones, he's checking these
Yeah.
ones. So it just sounds like the robotics team is online, ready to go.
Okay.
I think I saw Stacy raise her hand that she might have contact with Tim, correct?
Ms. Gallagher, do we have any news on Mr. Kirkchurch?
Okay, we can,
Can we switch the order?
yeah, we'll switch the order on student, staff, and community recognition. We'll start with item 4B, Shiprock High School Robotics Team, recognition at nationals.
Okay, we have the Shiprock High School robotics team online, and the Shiprock robotics team, they traveled to Houston, Texas to compete with teams from around the world and proudly earned the Judges Award in the Loveless division. And we have some students, if you could all share your screen, and if you would say a few words for us, we'd love to hear from you.
Closer? Yeah. You talk. Sorry. Hello. Hello, this is the robotics team. As of now, we don't have all the members present, but I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
I'm Leah Bittot, and I'm the
Colt Benali, and I'm the driver and also the assistant builder.
Hello, my name is Tashawn Tallweather. I am the lead coder for the robotics team.
Hello, I'm Lanai Richteroff, and I'm the a journalist for the team.
oh
We'd just like to say thank you
yeah.
from all of us.
Yep, thank you very much for
Yeah.
showing your support for the team. And yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your support. And one thing that I noticed was that it's not nationals, it's actually World's Championship.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun going to Worlds, and we're so happy to have accepted the Judges Choice Award. So thank you.
Yeah. We'd just like to thank you all, especially for the school board, for your endless support for robotics. It really has meant a lot in helping us succeed and go farther, especially all the way to Worlds, and for your support. And we just really appreciate it, because without your support and your help, we wouldn't have gotten this far without you.
I would like to thank you, Board of Education, and we hope to see you next year and be our supportive system for us so that we can continue.
Yeah, till next year.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any comments from the board?
Yes.
Vice,
Who's,
You cut out. So,
I was gonna say, yes, I do, Vice President.
perfect. All right, President Montoya, go ahead.
I just want to say first, congratulations, and your success certainly goes hand in hand with what I've said many, many times before about our students. They're very talented. They're as equally, if not more talented than a lot of kids, not just in the county or the state, but obviously now across the country, and not to mention the world, because that's where they competed. And for some of you, you don't know, I'm actually coming back from Washington, D.C. And in many of the conversations that I had in Washington with the staffers, for our congressional members and Senate members. I was expressing to them the importance of our JOM funding and our impact aid funding and how it's utilized to support the opportunities for our kids. So this is absolutely a fine example of that, of what that money does. I constantly say that money does not solve all the problems. However, what it does is to provide an opportunity for our students to grow and learn. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
Mr. So, do you have any comments, questions?
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations and wanted to express my sincere appreciation and thanks to the robotics program. And hopefully our district will continue to support programs like these, especially those that make a difference and impact the lives of our students and kids across the district. Thank you.
Mrs. Aspis?
Thank you, Resbotics. Is that your T-shirt for your team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Shiprock
Shiprock Chieftains.
23948.
Well, and you guys wore those T-shirts at the competition?
Yeah.
We
Awesome.
actually have multiple.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing, and I hope that, you know, our younger students can use you guys as role models. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Miss Haskey Overly on the line? No, okay, sounds good. And then myself, we're very proud of you. Thanks for your efforts and representing our district. All right. Did we have, moving on to the next item, let's see.
I'll go ahead and try and.
Okay, we'll reinstate item 4A 2026 NMSBA Student Achievement Award for Tim Kircher.
Yes, we'll go ahead and do whichever ones are here. If they're not here, we can go ahead and hold off and see if they might show up. I'm going to ask, has Mr. Kircher been notified? Do you know if he's going to join? Okay. We'll go to C and just to see if Jordan Holian is here. If she's not here, I will do just a real short version. And I don't know if perhaps, Sharon, do you have that picture that is in board docs that you could kind of pull up of her? And again, if she shows up, we can go ahead and do it for real and do a better job of it. But we do have a picture that goes along with a short article. And so there it is, and everybody has a chance. You can read this. I'm going to go ahead and read just the first. It's kind of the opening and then the first paragraph. And if she comes later, we can do more. That's Jordan right there. Salutatorian Jordan Holian becomes the third Davis, New Mexico scholar in Newcomb High School history. She will pursue nursing degree at the University of Portland. Newcomb High School senior Jordan Holian will head to Oregon this fall with every dollar of her college education covered: tuition, housing, meals, and more, after earning the Davis, New Mexico Scholarship, one of the state's most comprehensive awards for first-generation college students. Holian, the school's salutatorian and a National Honor Society member, will enroll in the nursing program at the University of Portland in the fall. So congratulations to her. Again, if she shows up, hopefully we can do a little bit more and maybe take a picture with board members, that kind of thing. But for now, we could give her a round of applause as if she's here. Congratulations to her. And we'll go down. Is Tayana, hopefully I said that right, Tayana Bekas online? Nope. So we'll go ahead, I'll do the same thing. Nothing, okay. Tayana Bekas is the only New Mexico student named among 12 national recipients of the 2026 FCCLA National Leadership Conference Scholarship. Tayana Bekas, a junior at Newcomb High School, has been named one of the 12 students nationwide to receive the 2026 FCCLA National Leadership Conference Scholarship, making her the only student from New Mexico to be selected for the distinction this year. Again, there's a whole article, you can kind of read that when you get a chance. But since she's not here, I'll go ahead and ask that you give her a round of applause like she were here, if she were here. And we can go back to the first one if Mr. Kircher hasn't replied. There is an award for Tim Kircher, and that is, we're back to A now, and he is the 2026 NMSBA, New Mexico School Boards Association Achievement Award recipient, Tim Kircher. And what it says is the Excellence in Student Achievement Award. It's presented by the New Mexico School Boards Association in cooperation with the local Board of Education in recognition for the outstanding role played in improving student achievement in 2026. And so he had to be nominated, I believe, by an administrator of the school, perhaps the principal, we're not sure. She's shaking her head yes, but that's probably who it was. I've been in Mr. Kircher's classroom on many occasions, and I've seen him teach. And he's doing the things that I request teachers to do. He's moving about his classroom, he's engaging his students. Students are discussing their topic with one another and talking about their learning. He's an outstanding teacher. And you can tell when you walk into his classroom, students enjoy being in there. And that's not the case in every single classroom I go in. So anyway, thank you, Mr. Kircher, for all that you do in your classroom. I wish you were here now, but we can still give him a round of applause. Oh. Well, there you go. And who can fault him for that? So give him a round of applause. Good thing is these things are taped, so he can tune in and hear all that we said, and he can hopefully hear your applause. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, and congratulations to our students and staff. We're moving on to item 5A, comments from the audience. I just want to remind everybody to follow the time limits and to make sure to uphold decorum. It is 3 minutes, right, for public comment? Did anybody turn in a slip for public comment? No? She usually gives them, okay. Well, in that case, we'll just move on to item 6A, reports from the board. We'll just go through the roll call. President Montoya, do you have any reports to give?
I do. Again, I'm coming back from Washington and just now coming in on the east side of Farmington, but I just want to say that I am very, very thankful to the Navajo Nation's Washington, D.C. office, because the individual there set up several meetings in a couple of days. In fact, Ms. Chappelle, our general counsel, actually stayed another day to finish meetings today. And on both days, I think a total of 15 meetings with congressional and Senate staffers throughout the days. We put literally 4 miles in each day, walking from building to building, back and forth. And it was quite productive, and they were responsive to our needs, and especially with the proposed budget for 2027 from the president. And we were able to state our concerns and its possible impacts on our school district. So again, I just want to publicly thank the Navajo Nation's Washington, D.C.'s office and their staff for doing a wonderful job in getting us set up for those meetings. And again, once I get back, I'll have send out an email to everybody on the board and let them know exactly some of the more finer points of those conversations that we've had. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. So, do you have any reports? Okay, moving on. Ms. Aspis, do you have any reports? Yep.
Hello. So this was just a discussion with some people that pretty much support and elect certain people. And during this discussion, I talked about how we've traveled as a board to different places, to different conferences such as National Congress of American Indian and NIEA and other places, to where we've talked about our situation here on the and how we're seeing that our students and our community is really the sacrifice for renewables. And a lot of them, there was some elder Navajos there, and they didn't realize that when I brought up about if you look at Navajo Nation on a map and put those energy spots of power plants in there, you'll see that around Navajo Nation boundary is these closures are happening. So you wonder what really is the agenda here, and then on top of that, how it really affect our students and student count, and families moving away, our homelessness rate. So they were very surprised, and didn't mean to grandstand, but that's what I think is needed in order to get across to others, and it's still going on. It still needs to happen, because they even though this was kind of a small setting, they were very surprised, and afterwards came up and asked different questions, and I let them know that in a lot of ways our focus is on our students to make sure that they don't lack in any way, you know, compared to other districts such as Albuquerque or around the New Mexico, state of New Mexico. But at the same time, we have to remember that CCSD is a large employer and on the reservation. So, you know, with all those you keep in mind, and so it does matter. And so I was really glad to have talked to this, you know, within this small group, and I think they went away with a better understanding that yeah, we really need a balance in our situation, and then how funding goes, and even school districts have credit ratings, bond ratings, and things like that. So, and I just pray that all of us can keep that, you know, that talk up, and voice it, and especially as we go to these different conferences. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Mr. So, one more time, do you have any reports? Okay. I don't have anything to report today, so looks like we're back to you, Mr. Carlson. Item 6B, reports from the superintendent, general and reporting of student travel requests, fundraising requests, and gift donation approved administratively by the superintendent.
Thank you, Board Vice President. I do believe we only have at this point some donations, gift donations. So I'm going to go ahead and read those. I think there's 4 of them. The first one is from NTEC, Navajo Transitional Energy Company, and it is for the Shiprock High School robotics program, and it is a check for $500 to help with upcoming robotics competition. We also have from NTEC, Navajo Transitional Energy Company, for the Newcomb High School robotics team, a check for $250 to be used towards student travel and/or purchases for supply and materials for the robotics team. NTEC has been very generous to CCSD in the recent future, and we appreciate all their generosity. I have a request for a donation from Pizza 9 for Eva B. Stokely Elementary School. This is a student incentive for pre-K to 6th grade, and it is free 7-inch pizza coupons valued at, I guess, 500 coupons at $7.49 per pizza is $3,745. Check the math real quick, Finance Director. Oh, okay, well, we're gonna have to take her word for it. I believe that's correct. Thank you, Pizza 9, for your donation. One more donation, this one's from Fly High. This is for student incentives from pre-K through 6. This is also for Eva B. Stokely Elementary School. They're donating a free pass to Fly High, $17 per coupon, and there's 75 coupons for a value of $1,275. And so thank you very much for that donation, Fly High in Farmington. And that's all I have.
Thank you. That's very generous. All right, so we're moving on to item 7, report snowboard action. 7A, National Student Safety and Security Conference report by Charlene Rivers and Janine Lewis.
Well, obviously, I'm not Charlene or Janine. I'm Gina Jones, the principal at Mesa. Charlene is at her son's National Junior Honor Society induction tonight. So she has asked me to represent the team or the group of administrators and our LSA who went to, the conference in Florida. So I just have a few remarks, and then I'll stand for any questions that you might have. Hopefully our safety people will back me up if I can't answer. So we really want to make sure that our goal is to ensure that every student and staff every staff member occupies an environment that is safe, secure, healthful, and respectful. Safety is no longer a binder on a shelf. It is actually a daily culture that we have. We balance advanced physical technology with the high-touch human connection. As emphasized by Dr. Shauna Finley, relationships are our most effective early warning system. When students feel a sense of belonging, they move from being bystanders to being partners in our safety. And this was one thing that they really stressed at the conference, was one of the most influential factors in what is the most influential factor in school climate? It is the shared belief that we are making a difference. What is the second most influential factor is cultural awareness, which is the impact of climate, safety, and achievement. So they went over a couple of models, and one of the models that I really kind of enjoyed learning about was the SARA model, S-A-R-A. This is to stay proactive. They were using the SARA model in several school districts, all around, one in Texas and one in Nevada. And it is a problem-solving engine. So it moves us from reacting to incidents to solving the conditions that create them. So S is scanning, identifying recurring safety problems or hotspots. Analysis, digging into the why. Why do we look at a crime triangle, victim, offender, and location? And to see if there is a gap in student belonging. R is to response. It's the implementation of their tailored solutions, or like our mentoring, pairing, our individual environmental changes that we make. And A is our assessment. So we review the data, our panorama climate surveys, to measure if our interventions are actually working. So the other piece to that was really this model protects against unnecessarily spending on programs or projects that fail to address the issues. It serves as a key indicator on the need for staff development in key areas. It provides administrators with knowledge needed to set priorities, and it allows for greater transparency in the ideation of actual issues and concerns for staff. It also helps to build and define better systems or application of prevention, intervention, and behavior supports. So it can easily be integrated into school policy development and daily operations by routinely scanning for emerging issues that may arise through analyzing any contributing factors that may arise, designing evidence-based responses, and assessing any outcomes. Schools can create a culture of ongoing improvement, and this is not only something that leads to measurement reductions, measurable reductions, but it also helps with all of our negative incidences, and it may actually foster a safer and more supportive environment for our students. So I really enjoyed that time when they were going over this Sarah model, and that might be something that we look more into if we already don't have something like that in one way or another. The other thing that they talked about was the human pillar, like our relationships. I have some data that they said 80% of student misbehaviors at school happen outside the classroom. 80% of classroom misbehaviors happens during the first and the last 5 minutes of class. Only 4% of misbehaviors happen during supervised instruction. So something's working when we're supervising, and that kind of goes back to our school climate, our classroom climate, focusing on those academic improvements. Mr. Carlson, you've mentioned many times before, bell-to-bell engagement, right? Supervising our non-instructional areas, following the discipline plan objectively and consistently, working on those building relationships. So we have our student to student, our student to staff, and then our staff to staff. Teaching coping skills, being aware of various cultures, and then address the stress in our schools. Are we addressing that? Are we lowering that affective filter? So national data proves that having just one trusted adult on campus reduces a student's high-risk behavior by 50%. So by doing the behavioral threat assessment and management, it is about support, not punishment. And we need to identify leakage, early signs of distress, and provide mental health resources before a crisis occurs. By identifying students who are struggling with belonging, we close the opportunity gaps that can lead to safety risks. They went on to talk about a lot of things about apples and orange protocol, and I won't get into that too much, but I learned some interesting things, and I'm sorry I only brought one copy. I was going to put it in a digital format for you. We had a whole discussion about, we played a game, and it was, could we identify harmful items that may be targeted and marketed for kids? So, can I bring these up here? Sure. Okay.
I was gonna say vapes.
Candy.
So as you can see in those pictures, one picture is, you can see it's for the youth, right? It's a Mario, it's this, it's something that, oh man, the kids, they would like that. And what is it? It's a THC vape.
Oh no.
There's a Sharpie that looks like any other school supply that maybe, oh, we see, oh, there's a Sharpie. No, it's a vape. We kind of played a game, don't get mad at me, it's not my title, Booze or No Booze. And they clearly had bottles of water that looked like bottles of water, but they were not bottles of water. They were alcohol. Things about marketing, you can see that death water, but then you see this other can that looks just like death water, but it is alcohol. So it was a really big eye-opener. All of us were really surprised at how clever they're getting in marketing, and we need to be aware of these things that are harmful to our students and what we're trying to build at school. And it was really eye-opening. I mean, I'm an elementary principal, but I could see Sharpies. I could see some of those things in my school. And I just wondered if we're seeing any of that in our middle schools or in our high schools. right after that presentation, they did another presentation with a machine that was pretty cool. That was it was a non-invasive technology, and it was just this big pole, and there was one on this side, and it was like a I don't know, what would I call that? Like a metal detector, but it detected vapes, it detected liquids, all the way from the shoes on up. And they started to talk about how they had these in big stadiums. And I started thinking about, we have a lot of people that attend our sports, graduation parties or graduations, things that have a lot of the population that attends. And are we, something like that might help. And so we'll pass that information on to the safety. One thing that it did say is that safety is a discipline we practice through the frameworks and everything that we do, and it is our and with our daily interactions. And we don't stay safe by being lucky. We stay safe by being ready. Remember, security is felt in the heart, not just seen on the screen. And I really took that to heart. We're not just lucky, we stay safe by being ready. And some of the things that they mentioned was, why do we just do a fire drill? How about changing up your fire drill? So I took that to heart, and we tried it last Friday at Mesa Elementary. So I grabbed my Promethean board, and I found a flame from YouTube. And I put it up on my board, and there was a fire in the kitchen, and I put it in front of the double doors, and this was at the very end of lunch, because fires aren't going to only happen when students are in their classrooms. So there was a fire in the kitchen, and we had to reroute. Kids had to think. The staff had to rethink. We evacuated for a fire drill, and then we evacuated and did an actual evacuation from the fire drill up to the blacktop. It took 12 minutes. But we learned a lot from that 12 minutes. And that was one thing that I took away from the training, from the conference, was we practice these things thinking that's going to happen, and what's the percentage that it's always going to happen when we expect it to. And so we tried to do a drill that was least expected, and it worked out in our favor, and we had some good conversations about that. So that's just a kind of a quick wrap up of 2 days, but I stand for any questions.
President Montoya, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. So first, really, the comment is, I just really appreciate the fact that you took in that training and actually applied some of it, and it helped to reframe your mindset on how some of these things work that can become mundane over time, right? So I appreciate the change up and you acknowledging that, and also hoping that some of that from that SRO that went out there with you guys, if we don't already, certainly the consideration of applying some of those principles and ideas within the district, those things that we can do. So also, I believe Superintendent, is there not going to be a consideration for another safety summit? Maybe some of that can be shared during that time as well.
Absolutely.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Just to, if I may reply to that, our LSA, Misty Jensen, who went there, did say that it was nice to see we were on the top of the heap, because a lot of things that they were doing, she was like, we're already doing that. And we're all like, we're already doing that, or we're already doing that, and we're already doing that. So I believe David and Devin has really set our school district up with rethinking our safety, because a lot of the initiatives that they had, we have already started to implement. So that kind of answers your question, Mr. Montoya.
All right, well, again, I've said this before too, and I know because of what we're doing, And what we started, the Navajo Nation reached out, and that's how that safety summit began, because they saw that we were really in this area in the forefront of the safety programs for our students. And now that's being spread across the Navajo Nation. So if we can continue to do that, then more importantly to our kids, the safety of our children and the staff that we have in the building. So very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. So, do you have any questions or comments? Ms. Aspis, do you have questions or comments?
So, you may have mentioned, and I apologize, wasn't in here, but where this conference took place?
It was in Orlando, Florida.
Okay. And just as President Montoya had talked about, you know, with the safety summit that we had quite a couple years ago, what I'm sure there was vast differences or something as far as related to the reservation compared to urban or Orlando.
They had people that presented from all different walks of life, rural districts in Nevada, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. They had all different types of city and rural superintendents or safety advisors, national people at the Safety Council. So they really had a good mix. People from up north. There wasn't anybody particularly per se that I seen there from the Navajo Nation, but I didn't get to speak with everybody.
What about other tribal reservations or?
I don't know about that. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I wouldn't be able to answer that. Maybe Misty might. Miss Jensen, she might be able to see. She kind of networked a little bit more with different SROs and LSAs and stuff that were there. So she might be able to answer that. I won't be able to, but I can find out.
And then being at a conference, I'm sure it was a huge one. You have people from different states.
Yes.
And so they comply, their laws are different. And then just the recent cell phone law that came in, you know, for New Mexico. Any other states doing that, and how is that working, or is it was it brought up as negative or positive, or?
In on any of the sessions that I went to, there wasn't necessarily a cell phone piece per se, although they did bring up see something, say something. And they did bring about Parkland. Okay. The chief security guy over the district that was over the Parkland shooting, he talked about you know, how cell phones were a part of trying to triangulate things, and how the students used the cell phones to help with that. And they did play a video, and it was made from pieces of everybody's cell phone and the videos that they got. And they had a lot of they had people from Virginia and Tennessee and New York and Minnesota, Nevada, Utah. So it was all over. And surprisingly, I was actually quite surprised with the number, because there may have only been like 200 people there. And so I was kind of surprised about the number. I thought it would be more people, because safety is such a big issue right now, especially with all the recent shootings and things like that. But they didn't mention negative things about cell phones at this time during the sessions that I was at. Maybe some of the other participants had some of that, but we all kind of divvied up our sessions.
And then on top of that, as I brought up about tribal, our district does comply to 2 governments, state and tribal. And so the gun laws are different if our security is armed. And this summit that you went to, was it any of their SROs armed or?
They were. They had concealed carry. So they did talk, they did have, several people had concealed carry while they were there. But there wasn't a part of the conference where we were told, or that wasn't really mentioned. It's just that I noticed that the participants were carrying concealed.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
No questions or comment from myself. Thank you so much for your report.
Thank you.
And then we do want to go, sorry, I apologize to everybody, but we're going to go back in time to item 6B, reports from superintendent.
So I just had one more thing. I'm gonna wait for the microphone to either, hopefully it won't get too crazy. While we have the next report is by the finance director, who happens to be the previous principal of Shiprock High School. Just recently, we interviewed for the new principal of Shiprock High School, and we asked that gentleman if he wouldn't mind coming this evening for an introduction. So I'm going to ask that Irvin Trujillo stand up and come to the microphone. As he's coming up there, I just want to mention, I got to work with Irvin quite a few years ago. He was in the district. Since that time, he spent, I believe, about 10 years at Piedra Vista High School in Farmington, honing his skills at the secondary level. So we're very proud to welcome back Irvin Trujillo as the next principal of Shiprock High School. At that time, you can all applaud that. Mr. Trujillo, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I'm glad to be back. I'm excited to take over the Shiprock High School and be chieftain coming from a Panther. So I enjoyed my 10 years at Piedra Vista High School. I don't want to talk too much. In Navajo, I'm fluent in Navajo, so I'm going to start with that. So yeah, Irvin Trujillo. Kachin das a chain of Kate and what else does another. What I the Nansley, I is a Nasha day, now Yezada or Yada Nasha, yes, I Nasha. So again, my name is Irvin Trujillo. I've been in education for over 20 years now. The last 10 years have been at Piedra Vista High School as an assistant principal. And I'm honored and grateful that I'm able to take over the principalship at Shiprock High School and be a chieftain and then look at the systems and see what I can do. So I'm glad I've learned a lot in my educational journey. Because before I was a principal at Mesa Elementary here, I did my internship at Eva B. Stokely. And I did a year there and also did human resources here at the district office as well. So a little bit of experience underneath my belt, and I'm always learning. I'm a lifetime learner, and I have a growth mindset in mind, and I'm always willing to learn new things. I'm willing to try new things, and I'm not afraid to think outside the box. So, yeah. Well, thank you for letting me come here and to introduce myself. I'm grateful to be here and see what I can do with Shiprock High School. So, do you guys have any questions?
I do.
Go ahead, Ms. Aspis.
You must be really missed. I mean, they vandalized that school.
They do. They have a senior prank. Every year we try to catch them, but yeah, so we do our best.
Mr. Sov, do you have any comments?
I just want to say good to see you again, Mr. Trinitz. I know it's been some time, and welcome back to our district. But I hope you do what is for the best interests of the students at Shiprock High School, and hopefully you can bring back some state championships.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
President Montoya, any questions, comments?
Absolutely. Welcome back, Mr. Trujillo. Looking forward to the change at the high school. And again, we appreciate the experience that you've gathered, especially over the past 10 years. And hopefully that will translate into very good progress at the high school there. So thank you very much for accepting the invitation back and the opportunity to work with our students and our kids. So thank you.
Oh, dang.
Thank you.
Glad to have you back. Congratulations and welcome.
Oh, thank you. Like I said, just a quick last comment. And my number one goal, always in my mind, is student first. Usually their safety, make sure they're safe, they're welcomed. And then also, like Superintendent Carlson said, what matters is how they're welcome at the school, but also what's being taught in the school. From bell to bell, I'm a person of I walk in the classroom, I'm looking for what's bell to bell. Are the students engaged? What are they learning? And that way we're creating future leaders for our community and for our nation. So, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, back on schedule. Item 7B, accounts payable disbursements, board report summary, disbursement listings, outstanding check listings, expenditures, revenue report by Stacy Gallagher.
Good evening, Vice President Montoya, board members, Ms. Aspis, Mr. So, and Superintendent Carlson. I come to you this evening with the general board report summary, and I can also go over some of the checks that are still stale. I had to run and grab those real quick. In our disbursement listings for operational, our operational disbursements for the month of April were $3,239,506.83. For the year, our total disbursements, $23,570,668.75. In activity, our disbursements for the month of April were $50,281.37. Year to date, $370,959.08. Johnson O'Malley for the month of April, $1,731.54. Year to date, $95,872.70. Outstanding check listings, and this is like total, so this could include payroll that we had just recently been ran when these reports happened. For the month, they were $10,116,33. Year to date, $10,748,159.21. Again, this report was ran on 5/5, so not that long after payroll. In activity, the outstanding checks were $50,281.37. Year to date, $57,969.77. So if you look at those numbers, what was for the month being $10,048,000 compared to the $10,748,000, we're looking at a difference of about $700,000 there that was not for the month of April itself on those. And then I can go over the ones that are fairly stale here in just a minute that were before this fiscal year. There aren't those up there for prior fiscal year. We've never included those. I could start to. I think the only reason they really came to light is Mr. Manning did bring some up in his report at the last board meeting. So I can go over some of those with you, the ones that are prior to this fiscal year. Because these reports are all ran for this fiscal year. So, but I can go over those. I did go grab them. Expenditure reports in our grand total out of general funds, 11,000 through 23,000. For the month of April, $8,123,305.84. Year to date, $71,767,115.52 as we're coming toward the end of the year. Out of impact aid operational, we had in the month of April $14,072,414.80. that showed on our expenditures year-to-date, $18,225,101.34. Ad valorem in the month of April, $20,744.87. Year-to-date, $25,206.85. Grants total, Carl Perkins, well, the grants total was $1,630,397.15 in the month of April. Year-to-date, $14,607,091.83. Out of those, the ones that you've asked us to highlight, Carl Perkins for the month of April, $9,593.51. Year-to-date, $14,256.14. So as you can see by those two totals, a good portion of Carl Perkins was spent in the month of April. Johnson O'Malley for the month of April, $3,167.54. Year-to-date, $116,017.22. Impact Aid for SPED for the month of April, $49,643.31. Year-to-date, $448,592.53. Impact Aid Indian Education, month of April, $465,556.36. Year-to-date, $4,714,755.07. Capital outlay, grand total for the year for April, $389,517.98. Year-to-date, $12,940.887.90. So those were our expenditures for the month and year-to-date. Revenues, general funds, $11,000 to $23,000. The grand total for the month of April was $98,796.17. Year-to-date, $74,326,710.66. Impact Aid operational year-to-date has been $519,665.68. Ad valorem revenues in April were $1,823.79. Year-to-date, $214,822.26. Grants, grand total for the month of April, $6,846,160.18. For year-to-date, $83,564,043.86. Carl Perkins, grand revenue in April, $3,580.94. Year-to-date revenue, $36,848.61. Johnson O'Malley revenue, you're going to like to hear this one, Ms. Aspis. For the month of April, we had $59,689.11 finally come into our coffers for revenue, for a year-to-date total of $163,520.69 for the year. So we got a little catch-up with the government in April. Impact Aid SPED, we did not have any new revenue in the month of April, nor did we in Indian Ed. For SPED, our grand total revenue so far this year, $501,795. Indian Education, $844,638.75. Capital outlay, grand total revenues in the month of April, $18,566.99. Year-to-date, $9,337.81. For you, Mr. So, interest on investments this year-to-date, $1,511,919.13 has been our interest income on our investments. Looking at the stale checks, so these would be checks that came in previous to 7/1 of 25, so previous to this fiscal year. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 stale checks that our department is currently contacting either the vendor or the individual to find out the status of those checks, and we're working to get those cleared. So that was part of the work this week. Mhm.
Sorry, Vice President.
Yes, okay. Thank you for that. Are there any comments from the board? President Montoya? Is he?
Yeah.
Ah, there he is.
He's over there. He probably didn't hear most of the report.
Hey, good to see you. Do you have any comments from the, okay? Mr. So, do you have comments?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the report, especially on the investment or interest income. One of the reasons I did bring that up is, I think it was at one of the meetings that we had, one of our neighboring districts, they generated about almost $4 million off of the money that they have sitting in our banks. So maybe the next task is to look at where some of the money the district has, if they're in investments that yield a much higher return. That way, instead of the money just sitting there, we have the money work for us.
So one of the things that did happen last year with my predecessor, who was an investment, specialist, he did put in some new sweep accounts, and those sweep accounts did help to increase this amount of interest income quite a bit. So we will continue to look at ways to do that.
Okay.
Ms. Aspis?
Yes, like I said, with the JOM, I just, going off reports, especially with the legislative, what do you call them? Balderas, reports that we get, lobbyists. So, just reading off of them and then, just seeing, through our email with NMSBA, NIEA, and, that a lot of those, especially JOM and, other tribal federal funding is being questioned. And so, just really want to make sure that, I think some people think that we should already know, but, the reason why I asked for, to be read in a public setting is that we all know. And then it gives the opportunity for, our viewers, our attendants, to attendees to see and actually see and what we're facing.
I appreciate that. I agree.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn it over to you, President Montoya. We're on item 8.
Thank you. And kind of as another note to follow up with Ms. Aspis, this money belongs to the community. They need to know what we're doing with it and how it's being spent and how it's being raised, quite frankly. So I appreciate that. Thank you. We're all good? If we are, we can move on to item 8, reports and possible board action, Navajo Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance Survey in fall of 2026 by Justine Yazzie.
Okay. Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Carlson. My name is Justine Yazzie. I'm the supervisor for the Navajo Health Education Program here in the Shiprock service area. We are under the Navajo Department of Health, focusing a lot on health education and public health prevention. And today we want to present to you on the fall to 2026 Navajo Youth Risk Behavior Survey. But with me, I want to introduce one of my staff.
Good evening, board members. My name is Miguel Pablo, and I work in the Zenaditli area, cover the Aztec community as well, all the way down to counselor. So good evening.
And we did have a presentation, if that could be pulled up. It'll be a quick overview on the Navajo Youth Risk Behavior Survey. Just a quick recap, this survey is done every 3 years for those who are not familiar with this survey. It's very focused on schools that have an enrollment of Navajo students, so on the Navajo Nation and border towns, which would include a lot of our central consolidated schools. Yeah.
While we're waiting for the crowd, you guys can just read a little bit on the tear sheet.
Okay. Oh. Is it coming? Okay, while we wait for that presentation to come up, we just were wanting to seek implementation for the Central Consolidated Schools from 6th grade on to 12th grade. So there is 2 different types of surveys. One's for the middle schools. Okay, for the middle school students, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, and then the high school survey, which is for the 9th through 12th. So this survey covers a lot with identifying health risk behaviors for our high school and middle school students, kind of targeting like what they're experiencing and what we can do, you know, to prevent things, to improve areas, get resources, and pretty much just kind of see what your schools are reporting. And the report from 2023 has been completed. It takes a while, so the schools' reports have been completed. So we do have that hopefully up and running. I think they did do a dashboard on our website, so that's available for the community to see the results for overall. So what we passed out is the overall results for all Navajo Nation schools that participated in the survey. So you can kind of see every 3 years the survey was done. But overall, the schools for Central Consolidated did participate 3 years ago. All schools from 6th through 12th did participate and did receive their results. So each principal I met with, they received their school's results, which was hopefully shared going up from there, but I'm not too sure on that part. So still waiting on that presentation, but the presentation overall is just kind of talking more about the NYRBS, why schools should participate, what do they get out of it, and the process for it. So hopefully they can get that up. I know I kind of submitted a little late.
The sheet, the one that you handed out right here, it's just the categories in the top of the categories that have the questions in it. Yes. Has the questions in it. Yeah. Yeah. These are some of the questions that are on there. And these are the years. For each school, you know.
Okay, so just a quick, I'm just going to highlight some of the areas regarding this presentation. So the NYRBS, again, is the Navajo Youth Risk Behavior Survey. So this survey is also done nationally and for the state. So the state does it every 2 years, while we do it every 3 years. So in 2023, it did overlap. So we did work with the state on implementing their survey along with ours. So But this year it doesn't overlap, so we're going to be focusing on just our survey this year. So again, it's just basically collecting data for key health behaviors. So those areas can be like nutrition, healthy weight, physical activity, smoking, drinking, sexual health behaviors, and I believe driving or injury prevention. So those are the areas that the survey really focuses on. And it's just kind of really just wanting to monitor, changes. Are things going up? Things are going down? I know in the survey results, we've seen that vaping is increasing. A lot of different areas like bullying is increasing, especially with internet bullying, cyberbullying, and some other areas are decreasing. Can't really highlight all the areas, but that's kind of the results we've been seeing.
This survey also, at the local level, the school can also have an idea how they can approach the situation, if they needed to do more presentation on prevention or presentation on education. And that's where we at our program, Health Education, can also gear our format to our audience, to our students, to see where they're really at. So we will be able to do more prevention and more education.
Yeah, so those support services as a result from these information we get from the surveys. And then here we're just talking about why schools should participate, that it's really critical to ensure that, we do represent our Navajo students, getting an accurate kind of information of what they're experiencing, what we can do to, provide support or resources for the schools. Next. And let's see. So with this survey, it's completely anonymous. So students' names and any demographic information is never reported. We don't accept that information. And it's also completely voluntary. So students do not have to take it. The process is that we seek approvals from the school boards, down to the principals, down to the parents, and then down to the students. So that's just kind of the process for getting the survey completed. Next. But overall, the biggest thing is that, students that are healthier, they're better learners. So it's been shown that they, whatever they're experiencing, that any behaviors that might be affecting their schoolwork, their learning, can be identified. And this data can also help with passing laws. A lot of areas, they use the information to bring in their resources, apply for grants, or create other programs for their schools. Next. But here I'll just talking about this recent findings for the high school students, that you can see that a lot of students, they don't feel safe going to school. Either suicide and suicide ideation were some areas too that were kind of either leveling or increasing. Issues with drugs on school property, bullying, like I mentioned. Next. And, oops, wrong way. And then for middle schools, talking about injury prevention, bullying, prescription drug use, use of cigarettes, and then suicide as well. Next.
What is the helmet one?
Go back. So that's for injury prevention. So this is regarding students who either skateboard, ride bikes, if they do use a helmet. No. Next. Okay, but overall what the benefit is that it represents your students from grade 6 through the 12th grade on their health behaviors that they report. It helps monitor changes over time, so you can see kind of every 3 years the data either increases or decreases or generally stays the same. And pretty much it's to help improve our youth's health for the short term and then for long term. And then strengthen funding and resources, advocacy, getting this information can be help with those grant applications at the state, local, and federal level. Next. But like I mentioned, participation. How it works is once we are approved to implement the survey for this fall, 2026, a date will be selected with each school's principal or whoever they represent to work with us. We'll provide a number of students, how much material we're going to need, and then parental permission forms will be going out for parents to understand what's going on. And the survey does take about 45 minutes, or at least one class period. Next. Let's see. And one of our goals too is that depending on the schools, there's two different types of permission forms. So one is being an active or a passive permission form. So depending on what the principal wants to go with, majority go with the passive permission form, which just requires a no answer for parents, whereas the active, they need to respond either yes or no, and that's usually mostly with a lot of our Arizona schools.
On that one, usually what happens is, the school notifies the parents, okay, we're gonna do the survey or not. If the parent objects, then they contact the school. But if they don't object, then it's automatically taken.
Okay. Next. But that's just kind of a recap of the survey for those that weren't familiar with it. Again, it's anonymous, it's very easy to do, implement, and very important for a lot of our school areas. All right, and we're okay to take questions.
Before the questions, I just want to point it out that. Before the questions, let me go ahead and point out that the schools that served under your school board, they all did an excellent job 3 years ago. They really helped us out with their professionalism. They made everything go through as smooth. I think Shiprock High School and Kirtland High School being the biggest school, we were able to, get out the survey and real quick. It was done. And then they brought it back in, they gave it to us, and it was awesome the way they treated everything. They were professional about it.
Any questions from the board?
Yes.
Ms. Asmus?
So you mentioned that some of our schools, and that was back in 2003?
Yes.
Okay, 23.
Yeah, 23 was the last time we did it.
Okay, I'm really would like to, this upcoming one, the 2026, and see how that compares. Because, as we were talking earlier, that with student count and with COVID, I think that really made a huge difference, meaning I hear that some students lost hope.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is a lot of our families were, their homes were multi-generational, and so they lost people and their relatives, and I just really want to see what the state of our district is, and I think it's going to be helpful, and to get things back on, going forward, and that's just my hope anyway, and I think if we can get that data, I think that'd be good. Thank you.
Mr. So?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for this data, the survey that's been provided. What I'm most interested in is Are there any schools that seem to have more outliers, like numbers that are really high compared to some of the other schools? And whether that's indicative of what's going on within that local school setting versus some of the other schools, such as like high uses of alcohol, drugs that are beyond what the other schools are. And also, if those problems have identified, they're relayed back to the school and our district so that we can actually start to intervene if it does come up in that regard.
Yeah, so the best thing about this survey is that each school gets their own results. However, we cannot report on each schools to anybody. So it's up to this principal on how they implement or distribute their info. So if each principal brings up their data to you guys, then that's where you'll see those like the differences, the correlations, things like that. So unfortunately, it's out of our hands. We gave the data back to the schools, so so it's up to the schools to how they want to share that.
I think another maybe question to probably ask is how often are people on social media, like how many hours they spend a day? And then I think the other one that's also come up is I've seen a lot of younger people with like those earphones, their headphones, or they're blasting music in their ears. So maybe a good topic is how many kids have headphones and how much they spend, and whether or not it's at a certain level. And I'm actually curious if hearing loss is one of the things that's becoming a lot more evident with younger people.
Oh, that's a very good question. That's something we can also bring up to our survey.
And of course, like how much they spend on their phone, social media.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know that I see it every time you walk down, everyone's all walking around, but even in school or wherever, they're always on their phone.
Yes, definitely. And I know one of the questions is how much screen time you do aside from like classwork, your computer, on a normal day. And I think that one was a pretty high number too for a lot of our schools.
And of course, maybe another one is for students that drive, how many do texting while driving?
Oh, yeah, that's another really good one. That needs to be added to our survey.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I have another question. As he was pointing out some of the items on that list, tobacco use and on how education seems to bring it down. And I think for us, within the district, we need to do better, Superintendent, to where we've had issues such as sexual harassment, but it's almost as if they're adults, and these are middle school, and the way it's handled like an adult level, and I think we need to do better on our part. And then, the presentations, as you said, it brings it down, and we have not done, I remember back in the day where we had assemblies on, certain items, and, and these days it would be on bullying, would be on vaping, it would be, and we're not consistent, we're not doing that. So I think as a district, we need to do our part too. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. I did want to add on to that we were contacted by the health class for Kirtland Central High School, and that was our first time ever being reached out at that level. And the health class wanted us to come in and present on sexually transmitted infections. It seemed they weren't, they wanted an outside entity to kind of educate them and kind of teach them at that level to where they'll understand. And it was very successful. And they want us to come back more for on the vaping and the bullying. So we're very commendable for that too. So I just wanted to share that as well.
Vice President Montoya, question?
No questions. I just wanted to thank you for the report. The data is very eye-opening. I see that the majority of the questions being asked, it seems to reduce over time for the majority of them, which is, it's really nice to know that we've got some good kids out there. But that's it. Thank you.
That's what I was gonna say, is if you look at the trend since 2008 over time, especially from 2017 to 2023, they've all gone down in the first three categories, which is good. So there's progress being made. So I appreciate that. And if, thank you for the information. And if there's no other questions, would someone like to make a motion to accept the program for fall of 2026?
I make a motion to accept the program for fall of 2026.
I'll second that.
Order roll call, Mr. So?
Yes.
Ms. Aspis?
Yes.
Ms. Montoya?
Yes.
And myself, yes, thank you, it's approved.
Yes, thank you so much.
On to item B, Indian Education Grant Title 6 for SY 26-27 by Dr. Belinda Begay.
Yat a shikado shidina auto audit da istanol tsangi she bit anin shlida tkatnasani bashish chin kitlichi ni dashi chedo shini dashinala auto kwa ultra hahodzo has anigi shina nishish inigi a denabaza do sad kwa ben antinigi slatobik edensh in auto di peso yahin dehegi alto bitsinch kliji peso bitch headed ahigi a big edench a abahashna dollar. Good evening, board members, President Montoya, Vice President Montoya, Secretary Aspis, and board members and Superintendent Carlson. I'm going to be presenting the Title VI Indian Education Grant Application for school year 26-27. Next slide. So this is a supplemental grant in addition to all other grants that are out there, but this is specifically for our American Indian, Alaska Native students or Native American students. For this grant at the federal level, they do title us as American Indian. So that's how they identify us at that level for this grant. A lot of the services for this grant really is to support and strengthen our students' their identity. It also includes what is taught. We still have a lot of work to do with the history or the government part of it. We do have Ms. Roxanne Lee, who has been instrumental in creating a curriculum for Navajo history this year by working with several of our teachers at the high school level. I believe that is complete, and we're supposed to have that as an overview soon. I can't remember what date it was, in June, I think, to go over what was completed. And then we do have our Native American English learners that are here. A majority of our current identified English learners are primarily Navajo students. So in terms of that, we do support them in different ways, such as supporting their teachers that have our Native American English learners in their classrooms, whether it's self-contained classrooms or by periods. They do get trained in culturally linguistic relevancy. We have been working with Dr. Holly in that. We are currently, we completed level 2 cohort 1 this past spring. We do continue to have that because that is part of the ruling in the Yazzie Martinez lawsuit. And that is coming from the state, and it's also lined in our current educational laws of the BME and the Indian Education Acts as well. And as it always states, it does support culture sensitivity training for district staff as well. Next slide. The other components of what's written into this grant, it does include the holistic wellness and balance services that's done in different forms, whether it's the actual services or bringing in consultants or workshops to address different areas in regard to holistic wellness and balance. Also, we do work with Dr. Harvey's programs to carry these out as well, because it is included in her grant. And so we do support those at the school levels. We do have principals that do request for these services as well. Next slide. I covered the first part. Under this grant, it does support 8 Heritage Navajo teachers. Their FTEs are 100% with benefits, and 25% of salaries and benefits for 2 of our ICO admin, and also for professional development for the coaches and ICO staff. Things do come up in terms of language and culture or anything related to language planning, Native American research, or conferences. That's where we do support that as well. Also, in terms of other departments, they do request services from us to help them support with some of these costs as well. Next slide. So this is a breakdown of our budget this year. That amount that's listed right there is what has been awarded to us for this coming school year. As you can see, a big portion of that goes to personnel, with what I had just shared earlier, of the 8 teachers and the 2 ICO staff at 25%. We do have our travel in there. So this year, a lot of the support came from Title VI because of JOM. JOM, as you know, we didn't get the full amount this year. So whatever was not being provided from JOM, we had to tap into Title VI to support those services. But we did get additional awards, and so for that to post, it's taken a long time as well, because we have new people at PED that approves these awards. And so while that was happening, JOM tapped into Title VI to support a lot of the programs that schools and parents were requesting. So that's what happened in terms of using up the travel and the supplies, and then the contractual parts of this year. Next slide. These are just a breakdown of what I've been sharing regarding our teachers, and then our bilingual supervisor and one of our Navajo language coaches. Next slide. And this is the travel budget for students and some PD travel as well. Next slide. And supplies, these are all direct instructional services for students. Next slide. These are our consultants like Dr. Holly, other language, culture, presenters, and services as well. Next slide. And this other, the breakdown is the direct instructional delivery. That's specific to help with students. Things that don't get covered or is not allowed in JOM comes from here. And then, of course, student activities such as field trips, such as the equity trips and events. We've been cost sharing with them as well, because we've noticed and found that we do additional things than what we originally put into our grant, but it's needed with our equity council and students. For example, like when we took our students to the legislation day and other conferences, we get called up from other places like Gallup. If they're having a forum, they'll ask for students. And so those are the types of costs that will come out from here. We also have our holistic healing services coming from here, and then our IPAC member stipends also come from here. Next slide. Is that the last slide? Okay. So that is the end of this report on Title VI, and I stand for questions.
Questions from the board?
Just real quick, compared to last year, is this increase or decrease?
It's a slight increase. It fluctuates between 1,600,000 and 1,700,000. And it just really depends. Every year, it just fluctuates.
Ms. Aspis?
Yes, so in your report, do you let them know that you had to steal from and
Borrow.
yeah. And what is their, if anything, do they have a response or anything?
It's just like what's already listed in this grant. It's just like using up those services. There's nothing different or nothing new. It's just that we've been utilizing this grant to the maximum capacity, I guess, because of JOM. So it's nothing different. It's just the fact that we're doing more than usual. So that's how that works out.
And then, as you were talking about Yazi Martinez and with the Indian Act, the fact that, it's still being scrutinized and still, I don't know, trying to come up with a template or what they're doing. Do you often refer to some of that, or?
I do, and I actually teach TESOL classes for our TESOL teachers, and every semester I get a different set of teachers, and it's really surprising that a lot of our teachers aren't aware of the lawsuit and the rulings, and that CLRI exists, or what is it, or how does it work. So we spend time on that. It's also embedded in the evaluations to the CLRI, and they don't realize that it's embedded in there. So we spend a lot of time with that, and that's what we feel needs to get strengthened and with different areas.
And then as you're doing these, grants, is there a movement, or if any, I don't know, I've seen some stuff on it that tribes don't like to be called American Indian and put into one whole group whereas Alaska Native, they have their own.
Yeah.
And so how come we don't just say Navajo?
So I guess it varies. For example, at the state level, and a majority of the documents were still titled as Indians. So that's what they go by. And then at the federal level, it's different, I guess, and depending on what was put in documents a long time ago, it's still Indians. That's how it is in the Constitution. Well, it's not Indians, it says something else. And so, but that's what they go by. But from our end, it really varies on what, I guess, you use based on how things are being utilized at the state and federal level. That's what you use in your grants. Like what they use, that's what you use, and then at the state, you use what they use too. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, President Montoya, is that something, I would like to see, it change, and to where we're recognized as Navajo, and then of course, all the other different tribal students in our area instead of as American Indian.
Certainly that language could be posed from the perspective of one, the school district and the Navajo Nation, and then to Congress, because again, as you're saying, that's the language that they use. So in turn, so does everybody else. But certainly I don't think it's out of bounds to request language that would be more applicable to the tribes individually. But that would be something that they would have to take into consideration.
Yeah, it does vary. For example, like different people who are in the capacity of the positions, like Katie Ann Wanako, she says Pueblos, tribes, and nations. She's the first one I've heard her say, and other people before her predecessors, they say other terms that they've used too. So I guess it really varies in terms of who's in these positions. But in the documents, like for official, legit stuff, that's what's used.
Wow. Could start the discussion.
I think it's more of a Indian Education Advisory Council that's that advises the PED as well, that can start this movement as well. We do have a member here sitting among us that's on that council that can begin that recommendation if that's something to go forward with.
I think that's certainly more just of the collective that they're looking at. Because you start printing up those documents, then you're printing out 19 tribes or the 19 pueblos and 23 tribes every single time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but even though the people say that in the documents at the state level, it's Indian, that's how those are written in the documents.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, no, I better not. Okay, that's.
Mr. So?
If there's nothing else, I'd like to make a motion to approve this item.
Ms. Montoya, any questions? I do have some comments first before I move on to that, because to me this is important, and I kind of alluded to it in regards to educating our congressional members and our Senate members, our staff. And one of the things that I said, and it was very particular to JOM and the services that it provides, especially when you're talking about BMMP, right? That I said very clearly to them that culture and language is not DEI. It's the identity of our kids. That's who they are. That's why we do what we do. and it took some of them back. You could just see the look, the expressions on their face that some of them don't see it that way. It's just a program to them.
Yeah.
But for us, it's deeper than that. And so it's important for us to, especially at the federal level, to ensure, because we're doing a good job here in New Mexico. It's at the federal level when you talk about federal funding, and I've also talked about every single time we stepped in those offices was about the fiduciary responsibility of the federal government to the tribes. Because lost in these conversations of efficiency and effectiveness, what's lost is that fiduciary responsibility and trust, tribal and trust obligations to the vast number of Native American tribes, 575 now. So I just want people to know that, like I said, every time I stepped in those offices, I expressed that to them, that money is important to our kids. So
I agree, and that's the basis of our sovereignty. I mean, the purpose and basis of why we have sovereignty is for the very reason that we have a cultural identity.
absolutely.
And so, yes.
I wholeheartedly agree and support that. So thank you very much. With that, I believe, Mr. So, you made a motion?
Yes.
Second?
I second.
Vote roll call. Mr. So?
Yes.
Ms. Aspis?
Yes.
Ms. Matoya?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Thank you, it's approved. Good.
I think I'm next. still.
Oh, that's right. My bad, you're there again. Please, continue.
The next presentation I have is the Indian Parent Advisory Committee bylaws.
If I could ask, just to help summarize, are there any changes that were made by the committee? Or is it pretty much the same?
No, just the year and the people that are signing off on it. But for those that are new, like Ms. Montoya, I just wanted to do a quick background on who the IPAC are. The Indian Parent Advisory Council are specific for this Title VI Indian Education Grant. We do have JOM, they have the IEC, the Indian Education Council. So there's a difference. The difference is for this committee, we include teachers and students to be part of the council. They do make decisions and make recommendations, and they have a vote in that. So nothing has changed. We did have our meeting last week, and it still stands as is. The only challenges we have right now are that we use our IEC members for this committee as well, because it's really hard to find parents and guardians to fill these positions, and some of their terms are expiring, and it takes a lot of even now we've been recruiting nonstop. We still haven't filled one position yet. So that's what we have for the IPAC. We just call them IPAC. Questions?
Comments from the board, Ms. Aspis?
So, you know, it's been ongoing that we have those issues about IEC having enough, especially for quorum. But I'm wondering if, you know, the board itself can sit in for a little bit until that vacancy is filled. And we all have our different areas that we represent, and just a suggestion, you know, just something temporary, and until they get somebody to fill it, especially if it starts affecting quorum.
Well, right now, it doesn't. It's just the fact that their terms are expiring and it takes time to find people, but right now, we don't have an issue with quorum. We've been having our monthly IEC meetings and our quarterly IPAC meetings. We do work with Jared as well, and we do announce at all our ICO events and hand out flyers too, that we do have these positions available.
Yeah.
So
That's just a suggestion. I mean, just to keep, things going and just not to take it over or anything. It's just, just to help.
just in case we cross that bridge.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure you can give us an answer.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else?
Just real quick before we go, on page 9 of 11, under Article 7, you might want to double check the citation for compensation. It says 25 CFIU 73.17.c.2.
Oh, CFR.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would just, if there's anything, I would suggest that you just make that technical correction or edit.
Okay.
So we can get that done before sign, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll edit that and have Mr. George re-sign it and then give it to Sharon tomorrow.
Very good. All right, thank you. So I do want to say before, did you have any comments, Ms. Montoya? I apologize. Okay, so I do want to say the importance of this, obviously, we all understand that, but, and again, it's one of those things when you speak to some of those people in Washington who are clueless, absolutely clueless, and we had to, time and time again, express sovereignty to sovereignty, be it the state, that they have no absolute jurisdiction over the tribe. They have to have government to government, and again, the relationship is stated with the federal government. And I had reminded one of the individuals there about many, many years ago, especially in hindsight of the 250th birthday of this country, and it was George Washington who actually at that time used to treat every tribe, every indigenous tribe, as an absolute sovereign. And it's unfortunate that they don't do that today. So I think that's really a sad commentary to this country that they don't look at it that way. So I certainly try to do my best, and we were trying to do our best to remind them of that relationship. So I thank you for what you did. So with that, go ahead, Ms. Montoya.
Sorry, I just noticed that you guys have Open Meetings app. Where can we listen to one of your public streams?
Mia posts that. It is on our website and then on our calendar too. So anybody can listen in, or we do have in person too. So you either can listen in or sit in with us.
Okay.
We have it at the Payochi, the meetings.
Okay. Nice. Sorry, I was just looking for your the department link, but okay. Thank you.
So with that, there's nothing further. Someone would like to make a motion to accept with the change.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve this item with the edit on page 9 of 11 regarding compensation. The
Second.
citation.
I second.
Vote a roll call. Mr. So?
I vote yes.
Ms. Aspis?
Yes.
Ms. Montoya?
Yes.
Myself, yes, that's 4. It's passed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Vote. Item D, RFP evaluation results and recommendation to school board. Number 1, RFP 2026 SPED 160 clinical social work. 2, RFP 2026 SPED 161 physical therapy. Number 3, RFP 2026 SPED 162 teacher for the blind and visually impaired by Joel Balasut.
Good evening, Board President, Board members, Superintendent, colleagues, and community. I'm going to present the evaluation results and recommendations for the different RFPs that were evaluated recently. So the award criteria that were used for the clinical social workers, the physical therapists, and the teachers for the blind are the following. The personnel's experience, licensure, support, intercultural sensitivity, and the cost for the service. And among the vendors that that presented for their proposal are ACOR, Amergis, Care Staff, Ed Theory, Gifted, and National Recruiting. Among the 6 vendors, there were 5 that that are being recommended, and their scores range from 82 up to 83.73. And the one that's not included or being or that's not being recommended is the lowest, which is the National Recruiting Consultants. The proposal highlights are the following: competitiveness, professionalism, organized approach to the response, candidates meeting high standards required by the district, intercultural sensitivity. The next one is for the physical therapist. And again, the mentioned criteria were used for this vendor. And the following, and the scores are the following: ACOR 80.73, Care Staff 89.33, Ed Theory 86.94, Gifted 88.40, National 78.37, Ortiz PT Services 79.26, the Stepping Stones 87.01, Thera Ed Staffing 85.13, and all vendors listed are being recommended. The proposal highlights are the following: high quality placement, vendors use an extensive selection process, detailed information that were provided in their proposals, extensive experience working with CCSD. And the third RFP is for the teacher for the blind, and same criteria were used. And so far we have 4 vendors that submitted their proposal. We have ACOR, Care Staff, Gifted, National Recruiting. And of those 4, there are 3 that's being recommended, and the 1 that's not being recommended, which scores low, is scored low, which is 23.75. The highlights: successful work with the district in the past, commitment to the delivery of specialized program, and strong partnership with the district. This proposal, or this RFP, is being a proposal being recommended in order to ensure that our students in the district will at least receive services due to the staff shortage that we are experiencing currently. Thank you very much.
Question from the board? So,
I don't have any questions at this moment.
Hold on. Okay. No.
just as a point of clarification, there is no retainers paid to these services. They're just held in contract, and they're only paid for the services when they're rendered, correct?
Yes, the
Okay.
service rendered.
Just making that clear. All right, so if there's no questions, further questions, or any questions at all, someone like to make a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept.
I will second that.
Vote a roll call, Mr. So,
I vote yes.
Ms. Aspis,
Yes.
Ms. Montoya,
Yes.
and myself, yes, that's 4 passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
On to item 9, executive session, convene executive session, discussion on limited personnel matters regarding the board's goals and expectations of the superintendent as permitted under NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1 H2, of the Mexico Open Meetings Act. Someone like to make a motion to convene an executive session?
I will make the motion to convene an executive session.
Second.
I second.
Well, roll call. Mr. So,
Yes.
Ms. Aspis,
Yes.
Ms. Matoya,
Yes.
and myself. The time is now 7:34. get the most bulk of our kids. Okay, the time is now 9:02.
I would like to make a motion to
Hold on there, Mr. So, let me read this. I like to read it so people know exactly what we're doing, there's no question. Executive session B, reconvene in open session as stated that the board has discussed in the executive session only the subject identified on the agenda, the reason for which the meeting was closed. Discussion on limited personnel matters regarding the board's goals and expectations of the superintendent as permitted under NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1, H2 of the New Mexico Meeting Acts. Would somebody like to make a motion to reconvene, Mr. So?
I will make the motion to reconvene in open session.
I second.
Go to roll call, Mr. So,
Yes.
Ms. Aspis,
Yes.
Ms. Montoya,
Yes.
and myself, yes, that's 4. Item C, possible board action on items discussed in executive session. There was none to be made. Item 10, requested action items and/or reports for next future meetings. A, possible items for next meeting. I would certainly like to make a suggestion in regards to the budget that we have a special meeting on Tuesday. What's the date of that? Is that the 19th? May 19th at 9 o'clock, so we can have a presentation of the budget, so we can get that approved. Is everybody okay with that date and that time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So does anybody else have any other, or any other meetings coming up for June? Any topics, any items for consideration?
Yes.
Ms. Aspis?
So, I'd like to have, I was looking at the director's report this past Monday, and the SPED portion, I would like a further presentation on that, on what was shared at the director's meeting. And gosh, and I guess I'll get back with you on the other, but mainly that.
Okay, certainly if whatever your thoughts are for the consideration, get that to the superintendent in email, please.
And then also, I really like to pursue inviting, what's her name, Ron? The lady from Albuquerque School Board. Tome. Ronalda Tome. From Albuquerque Public Schools, school board member.
Regarding?
To share with us her, what she knows about SPED and all of that.
Okay.
That whole paragraph, everything that that you wrote down.
Okay, does anybody else have anything?
And also, when are we gonna do an evaluation for the superintendent?
That's also coming up too.
On the 19th?
Yes. Yeah, that's why it's 4 hours.
I do have something I'd like to review on the June meeting,
Go
not the
ahead,
special.
Ms. Matoya.
I would like to pull our student code of conducts, specifically the anti-bullying segment on that, and what our district stance is on those things in our code of conduct for our students. Review and potentially amend some things, maybe.
Okay. Anything else? If there's nothing else, basically A and B are covered. So move on to item 11. Adjournment, someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I will make the motion to adjourn.
Mr. So. Second? Ms. Aspis, vote roll call. Mr. So?
Yes.
Ms. Aspis? Ms. Matoya?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Time is now 9:07. The meeting is adjourned.